Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Civilization video. My name is Legend Ronnie and this is a continue to my series of Commander Spotlight. So I started a series of video which is called Commander Spotlight, where I talk about every single commander, or if I haven't done him, I will do him. Now it's Hannibal's Barca day. It's his turn to talk about him. Now the reason I didn't do him among the first ones is because he is a VIP commander. So that is correct. That is the only way you can obtain Hannibal Barca, buying the VIP chest. And the first chest unlocked at VIP 10, which is 20 bucks. Next one is at VIP 11, which is 50 bucks, and you can max out his first skill up to 5 with the second box. So with $70 you unlock your Hannibal Barca and you max out his first skill. After that I have no idea because I'm only VIP 11. Right, so let me get into it. You see here the VIP chest. So the second one is $50, and then you need VIP 12, 13 and 14. Once you unlock the VIP 14, you're managing to max your Hannibal Barca out. This is why I didn't put so much pressure or trying to finish Hannibal Barca off. Now, the few things that I have to say about legendary commanders before I go any further is that I already said it. For the first skill you need 50 sculptures, which applies to any legendary commander. So to max out the first skill, it takes you 50 sculptures. First skill is usually the best skill on every legendary commander. So it's very advisable to keep him at 1 star, max out his first skill, and then proceed forward. Now the second thing that I can say about legendary commanders, to upgrade his 4 to 5 star you need about 150 legendary stars. To upgrade his 5 to 6 stars you need about 450 legendary stars. So that brings you to 600 legendary stars for his last 2 upgrades on the stars. So altogether I would say you need a roughly of 700 stars. And this is the ones that I'm talking about. How do they call this one? The legendary stars. So in order to max out all the stars on a legendary commander, you need about 700 of these. I mentioned how much it takes, the 5th and the 6th one. Right, in order to max out his skills, I mentioned about the first skill, but in order to max out all of them, you need about 690. So after you summon him, need another 690 to max out all his 4 skills and unlock his expertise. The only good things that I can say about Hannibal Barca is that he is very good if you're a very deep spender. So if you're a very deep spender, he is a very good commander. Why? Because if you spend a ton of money into the game, that means you're going through the VIP levels like really fast, and you will need as many upgraded commanders as possible, because you're obviously City Hall 25, have all the tier 4, a lot of tier 4, probably almost unlocking your tier 5, so you need commanders. You need high level, high skill commanders, so that's where Hannibal Barca is useful. At the beginning of the game, later on into the game, he is kind of useless. This is my opinion. Now the reason why I'm saying, because obviously you're wondering why is he useless. Well, increase troops capacity by 3%, so he gets only 10% troops capacity bonus, which we already have an epic commander that can do that. And then when battling outside alliance territory, increase damage of all Hannibal's troops by 5% for 3 seconds after using a skill. It goes up to 15%. So you can only benefit mostly from this when you're battling outside the territory. So if you want to use him on your own territory, he's pretty useless. You can only benefit from the 10% troops capacity. When attacking others' governors' garrison, Hannibal has a 10% chance to heal some of his slightly wounded units. So only when you attack garrison, so this is pretty useless. I mean, if you're a deep spender, you're definitely going to siege a lot of players. But we all know when you siege that the wounded troops, not the slightly wounded, the severely wounded troops, they usually die. You don't get any severely wounded, just the slightly wounded. and usually there is no slightly wounded. So this becomes kinda useless. When you attack other governor city, or when you attack other cities, you don't really get wounded troops, you get only dead most of the time. It's very rare when you have slightly wounded troops to heal. So pretty useless skill. Then when Hannibal's army contained 2 different and 3 different, okay, so if you have 3 types, that means infantry, archers and cavalry, your troops deal 10% more damage. So this will limit this commander to use him only with multiple troops. So that brings us to his main skill, which is the only thing that you can actually use from Hannibal Barca almost everywhere or in any situations. So you have to use him with mixture of troops, which is pretty bad, I proved it. Having one type of troops makes much more damage than having a multiple troops, you know, having a combination of 3 types of troops. That is correct. So just one type of troops, it grants you more bonus, more damage than having 3 types of troops. So then this skill again becomes pretty ish. As I said, good at the beginning. So then it's only his main skill, which damage reduction 25% and defense reduction 25% for the next 5 seconds. That makes him a very good debuffer. Damage factor 400, that's next to 0. But damage reduction, defense reduction for 5 seconds, that makes him a good debuffer. Now, is it worth it, that much money to invest in this commander just to benefit from one skill? I don't really think so. I don't find him a good commander at all. Main skill, yes. Right. So I talk about his skills. I think it's time to show him his talents. So there you go. This is the only talents. If you're going to use your Hannibal Barca as a main commander, this is the only talents that could actually work for him. Now you can obviously pause and go through it. Is the green ones, red ones, blue ones and yellow ones. Basically the whole point on him would be to unlock the blue ones, so to get to 6 stars. So once you got him to 6 stars and you unlock the blue ones, he's good to go. The yellow ones, that is more like of a treat. If you actually manage to reach that one, I would not advise the siege part. The siege part, I would not advise it. You gain a lot more from the attack and the leader one. This talent tree can also apply to Julius Caesar and Scipio. They have the same exact talent trees. They have leadership, attack and siege. And this talent that they can apply to Scipio and Julius Caesar. Now, if I would have to actually use Hannibal Barca, I would personally use him with mixture of troops if his second skill is maxed out. So if his second skill is maxed out, I would use him with a mixture of troops. But I would group him with a maxed out Julius Caesar or a maxed out Frederick. Why? Because Hannibal Barca has 10% troops increase, and a Julius Caesar or a maxed out Frederick or a maxed out Julius Caesar, they have another 15%, so that's another 25% troops altogether that you can bring than your enemy. So at that point, if you have mixture of troops, will actually make a difference. You just become a big punching bag. And if you have really high research, obviously you're gonna dominate the battlefield and actually beat the other players as well. So this is the only way I would find Hannibal Barca very useful, or let's say to be the top of his power. Using him with mixture of troops, but being maxed out, and group him with another maxed out legendary like Frederick or Julius Caesar. And that is pretty expensive to have one of those maxed out and Hannibal Barca maxed out as well. Because, as I mentioned, you bring 25% more troops into the battle, so against any setup that has just one type of troops, you're going to have an extra advantage of troops. And at that point, you're going to dominate them. If you're going to choose the Frederick, like I mentioned, you're going to have a lot of nuking from Frederick, especially if Frederick is maxed out. If you're going to choose the Julius Caesar one, you're going to be very defensive. A second way you can use Hannibal Barca would be for debuffing, and that would only require his main skill maxed out and using him as a second in command to a nuker. So using him as a second in command to a nuker just for his second skill, so you can debuff the enemy to reduce their defense or reduce their damage. So for example, you could do Frederick as a main commander with the nuker talents, and then you could do Hannibal Barca as a second in command with the nuker talents. So this is where I would find Hannibal Barca really useful. Obviously people use him in Siege. He is okay-ish if you wanna ask me in Siege. As I mentioned, about his skill, that healing is very situational. So that's pretty much I have to say about Hannibal Barca, and have to say that his main skill is really spectacular. The giant elephant that charges into the enemy, the animation is really spectacular, but that's about it. So I don't really find Hannibal Barca as a very usable or worth investing commander. I'm sorry. But that is just my opinion, and I told you about the skills. So yeah, especially later on into the game. So if you do it at the beginning, it's gonna help you, but later on you're gonna find it a very bad investment. Only way you can use him later on is like I mentioned. You group him up with another maxed out legendary and you create a giant punching bag. So you'll have, I don't know, around 360,000 troops in a group using the 50% item and level 60 commanders, and use him with, as I mentioned, Julius Caesar or Frederick, so you're gonna have around 360,000-70,000 troops. So that is a huge punching bag. That way he's useful. But against a very strong setup, it's ish. Just the numbers, it might bring you a high advantage. This is why when I advise people to use Scipio is the main reason, because Scipio can take 10% more troops into the battle. Now if you want to use Hannibal Barca with any other commander, it can work, but I would advise you to use him as a second in command, and as I mentioned, with a nuker, so you can benefit from his main skill for debuffing. That would be all about his spotlight. I'm not gonna take it out for a spin, you've probably seen it already what he does. So until next time, this is your boy Legend Ronnie signing out. Peace out, yo, take care.